let's do another very damning. Pete Buttigieg is like the Lib Dems of the United States. I've decided. I think we all agreed, and did everybody basically agree in Philadelphia that
Pete's the worst?
Pete's the worst.
He's
Pete's
definitely worse than Biden.
Literally not a candidate up there I wouldn't vote for over Pete. I couldn't think of. Because this is serious, because it's not just, it's one, as Crystal Ball pointed out, there's something just so devastatingly depressing about somebody so young repeating so much pablum and bullshit. But it's also that, look, if we take some horrifying, depressing scenario like Joe Biden, it is anything besides Bernie's a setback, if we're being real. And then it's just a degree of setback. But Pete Buttigieg represents generations defining reassertion of failed hegemony and failed ideas. And I think that this is really important. I mean, this clip is from 2011. And these clips are not, Pete Buttigieg's record on race is not the product of somebody who didn't use woke terminology or needs to be educated on certain policy sets. This is somebody who actually has been involved in issues with regards to race, policing, gentrification, and here has an attitude on education that show that he clearly, sincerely, and horrifyingly wrongly diagnose things. This is Pete Buttigieg from 2011.
The kids need to see evidence that education is going to work for them, right? So you see a lot of parts of town.
That's part of the motivation.
Yeah, because you're motivated because you believe that at the end of your educational process, there's a reward, there's a stable life, there's a job. And there are a lot of kids, especially the lower income minority neighborhoods, who literally just haven't seen it work. There isn't somebody they know personally
and I think that's
who testifies to the value of education. So yeah, you bet. The kids need to.
So let's just be really clear, because I tweeted this out and I saw some people still get, it's amazing. Honestly, that some people could be following me and still be so delusional. He is speaking about people, and it's a very, I don't know what the broader context of this question is. So I won't make it, let's say people from any community that are experiencing poverty and lack of social mobility, right? Let's say that's who he's speaking to. I would be shocked if it wasn't. This discourse was normal racialized across the board. I just heard a clip of Sam Harris saying something like this the other, like asking a guy if, doing it well at school was acting white or something. So the point is that the reason that people are having trouble at school and having trouble moving up a ladder is because the entire economic and political deck is stacked against them on a material level, not because they don't have positive role models. And by the way, not because also you don't go to a very wide variety of circumstances and background and you don't actually meet incredibly well-read, highly educated people, because there's a whole other subtext, and barely subtext, that we're confusing testing and accreditation with intellectual acumen. They might have overlap in some cases, but they're absolutely not the same thing. And secondly, and thirdly, education does not solve poverty. Poverty is a resource and distributional problem. And this is a scam that conservatives and neoliberals have been running for decades, which is that we can deindustrialize, we can totally hack the safety net, we can have no public provisions for housing and healthcare that are real, substantive, and sustainable. We can redline people, we can racially discriminate against them, we can box in resources, and then all we need is, and then of course we need to terrorize the teachers and the teachers unions, but we just need somebody to see somebody from their neighborhood get educated and do well. I'll tell you this, I know for a fact that you can hear countless stories of people from different backgrounds saying, I actually do know X, Y, or Z person who did do, quote unquote, all of the right things you're supposed to do. They did get degrees, they did do this, and now they're basically just swimming in debt.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
I would say
mainly
that is
the
a
upshot.
larger number.
That's by far the larger number. And then the last point really quick too is like, what kind of disgusting system do we have to be in that when you finally do meet, I mean, if you go to a private college or an Ivy League campus or even some good state university campuses, you will meet people who are like, I'm upper middle class, usually white, not always, but always upper middle class, if not rich. And they're normal people. They're not dumb. They're not brilliant. And they're there. And there's a lot of them there. And they work and they live in certain neighborhoods, and they got paid. They got trained in certain ways to take certain tests, and they got certain, recommendations. And then you will meet somebody from, like Appalachia or an inner city or somewhere like that is not racially, geographically represented. And you'll meet them and you're like, oh, that person is a fucking genius usually. And also lucked out because they had one guidance counselor, or like literally had absolutely astoundingly above average talent, and then had several lucky breaks. So basically, all this is doing is, I mean, it sounds like boring, stupid pablum, but really what it is systemic and aggressive victim blaming. And there's nothing in this guy's record that I have seen that would attest otherwise to any other policy views. Now, look, that's a 25-second clip. So maybe the rest of the debate will come out and he'll say, we need to get jobs. We need to get healthcare. We need to deal with policing. We need to deal with racism. This is very much something that you need to sort of add in today's world because there's a million different clips floating around of people. But that one discrete clip, he said what he said. And that is a destructive myth in that 25 seconds, unless it was immediately preceded by, I would be a fucking McKinsey asshole to say.
Yeah, it's dangerous. And I don't know if Pete Buttigieg really has any beliefs to speak of because he has pivoted around so much and shown himself to have no inner core. But if there's anything he sincerely believes in, it's probably the American meritocracy, because he is a child of privilege who jumped through the hoops and took the tests, and everything is set up to convince these people, oh, now you've earned the right to run the world.
Right.
Like, I've been through the gauntlet. I know exactly how it works and what it's like. And it really does. It can trick you because you're like, oh, yeah, I'm working really hard. Therefore, I must deserve this.
Right.
There's more lines of evidence that Pete Buttigieg is a racist than that black people don't support him because they're homophobic.
Well, indeed, without a doubt.